Larry. Okay,
How do I get logged into that?
it's open. We'll call the Forestville Town Board meeting to order on Monday, February 21st at 6:30. Roll call, please.
Roy Engelberg.
Here.
Larry Huber.
Present.
Jason Clahat.
Here.
Dina Schmidt.
Here.
And I'm Ruth Kirscher, and we have Randy Schmidt, Devin Schmidt, Tanner Schmidt, and Chris Buzzendorf, and Frank Winters.
Lenzendorf.
What is it?
Lenzendorf.
L-E-N?
Lenzendor.
Okay, thank you.
The Nordic spelling.
Okay, thank you. The agenda was properly noticed.
Yes,
Okay, motion to the order to approve the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second. Motion made and second to approve the agenda. Just one change, number 8, the Southern Fire Department report. He will be here later, so when he comes, we'll pick it up with them. Okay. Minutes of the previous meeting on January 25th. Sent out.
Yeah, they look good. I looked at them, I read them through, and didn't see any errors. I'd make a motion, we accept them as they were distributed to us.
That's second.
Motion made by Larry and second by Jason to approve the minutes. Any changes or anything? I didn't see any.
No, they were good.
Okay, very good. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Treasurer's report.
In the cemetery checking, we have $39.24. Cemetery perpetual care, we have $10,278.84. Cemetery savings, we have $2,367.57. The town checking, we have $948.90. The money market, we have $223,988.20. And the LGIP general, we have $131,371.65. As far as the taxes, there are probably 20 people that did not pay the
I think
garbage, 19, the garbage collection. I did not get any personal property tax that is not paid.
Okay.
So you had no outstanding receivables.
Right.
Okay.
Make a motion, we accept that treasurer's report.
A second.
Motion made to approve and accept the treasury report. Any further questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Public comments and correspondence. Ruth, do you have any?
yes, I have a couple of comments. I did get my Form C report to the state.
Okay.
And it was kind of ironic. There was the transportation aids, the TRID. So I called Madison to see what line I should put it on. And the head of the department told me put it on this line. Next day I got a report. He wanted it on the next line. So I had to amend it. So I did. But it all worked out. So. And another thing, I did get a census survey and I went online to do it. And I had to put the state of Wisconsin and my email, not my email, my password. And when I got to it, it wouldn't take the password and I tried everything. And then after I looked, it's just a survey. So I thought, I'm not doing that. I don't have to do it. And I'll try again tomorrow or see what happens, but it didn't work.
Okay.
That's all that I had.
That's all you had?
Mhm.
The water sample was taken this past month and it came back with flying colors. So we have safe water again. If you recall, a couple of months ago, I talked about solar power. Well, besides other scams going on, we had one citizen in our township get some letters from a person saying that they have a party interested in solar power and please call or text. And not only did she get one letter, but she got, I think, 3 letters from the same person trying. One was a handwritten letter, the other one was an email, and she got, she gave me all the file that she got from that person trying to get her to contact him so they can talk some money. So that's a scandal, yeah.
Well, that's why I had put out that notice about
Mhm.
log into the town. Because if you log into that, it looks just like you're logging into the webmail address for email. And it's totally a scam.
Okay.
That's why I sent that out.
Mhm. That's all I got. Maybe online?
Not yet.
Okay, okay.
He's working on it, right?
I'm online.
Do you have a
so
meeting ID?
I don't.
Ruth, do you have give you an extra copy of the?
Let's see.
Well, here, I'll give you
This
the
is it.
meeting ID.
Is it the NT one?
Here, I have-
Yeah.
I have.
860-1011-7344.
Okay.
And then there's a passcode 095-516. And you probably will get a.
Working?
Yeah, I'm on, so I'll,
Zoom, join the meeting. If you just open Zoom and it says join a meeting,
yeah,
and then you put the meeting ID in,
I'm gonna put that in. Okay, here we go.
okay?
Let's put the passcode.
Mhm.
As soon as it catches up, we'll be all set, I think.
Okay, and then, well, then I'm gonna have to let you in.
Larry, when we use the other screen,
Alrighty,
we got 2 people participating.
Justin. You've now joined the meeting. Okay. So do you have something you
Yeah.
can share? Yes, there you go.
I have my email back to get my.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, we'll get ready. Dina, you asked for CNS to make a presentation. Would you give us a little highlight?
NCS.
NCS.
I'll let them talk, because I don't want to say the wrong thing. So, they can talk with what they want to presentate, but, yeah.
What
I'll let-
is NCS? What does it stand for?
What is an NCS?
Nutrient concentration system.
Thank you.
Okay, nutrient concentration.
I always get the concentration wrong.
Okay,
Okay.
Okay.
and who's going to be talking to you?
I'll do most of the talking.
Okay, Chris.
So my name is Chris Lenzendorf, and we really appreciate the opportunity to show you guys. This is pretty exciting stuff. So I'll give a little bit about my background and then go into what a nutrient concentration system is and why it's so important to dairy. So let me go to my screen share here.
If you want to.
Guys could move over there.
Jason, why don't you
Yeah.
move your chair over there? Okay, come over here.
Yeah,
We're going to.
get up.
There you go. You get down. There you are.
Okay, yeah, that's perfect. I don't need much
Careful,
room.
don't trip on my umbilical cord. That caused problems.
A little bit more cozy over here.
Yeah, okay.
And what company are you with, Chris?
Okay, so I'm with Clean Ag LLC, and a little bit about my background. Prior to doing renewable natural gas, I'm a consultant in the renewable natural gas industry. prior to that, I was president of Aqua Innovations, which is a manufacturer here in Wisconsin of nutrient concentration systems, along with a lot of wastewater filtration in the industrial municipal field. Prior to that, I worked in Governor Scott Walker's office in his policy department. So whatever your politics are, I was just in the policy department and worked there. So I became uniquely aware of the situations with Wisconsin DNR and dairy farms. Lifelong resident of Wisconsin, my family were dairy farmers down in Crawford County, if you guys know that, kind of the exact opposite part of the state. So really excited about this technology and what it means for the environment and for dairy farms in Wisconsin. So nutrient concentration systems, what that means is we're taking raw cow manure and we're separating the nutrients into more biodegradable products. One of the key points to it, though, is a minimum of 1/3 with this particular system is reclaimed as water. And we'll get into that a little bit, with the particulars of what that water looks like. But what that means to a farm is just extraordinary. So reduction of volume for counties and townships, the fewer trucks on the road, because we know that when you're hauling cow manure in the spring and the fall, like we are now, a lot of trucks on the roads going back and forth. So we get rid of a lot of that, the odors, what it does to the watershed, it's really magnificent. So when you think about nutrient concentration systems, what we call NCSs, there's really two competing technologies that have been going at this for the last 20 years. And I've kind of watched how that's worked. And there's really two ways to do it: mechanical separation and chemical separation. Mechanical separation, I always say it's not it's a workhorse. It's not the sexiest woman in the room, but it works consistently, does everything it should. Chemicals, I always like to think that is cheating, because when you're using chemicals to separate the nutrients or separate fiber out of the manure, the problem is you have a byproduct that you have to get rid of too. So it's kind of counterintuitive to what we're trying to accomplish. So here's my water. So, and if you guys have questions when I go through this, just feel free to speak right up, because I can start talking and Frank will tell me to shut up, but somebody else can step in at any time and let me know. So here's, when we're talking about nutrient concentration, let's take a step back. Let's talk about what the Schmitz are doing on their dairy thus far. So we have a digester, right? When I was in the governor's office, the anaerobic digesters were, hey, the state needs to fund these as many as we can, because this is the answer to our cow manure problems. For every gallon of milk that's produced in the state of Wisconsin, 3.6 gallons of cow manure. So think about that. If we took all of the municipal waste in Chicago, Minneapolis, Milwaukee, we wouldn't even have enough cow manure of what this part of the state, Kewaunee and Door County, produces. So think about that. Imagine all that being put on land. Obviously, it's a problem, right? So digesters back in the day were thought to be the answer to all this. The Schmitz have a digester on their site right now, a lot of benefits to it. In their particular case, in the past, they were making electricity with it, what we call power purchase agreement. Going forward now, they also have a gas upgrading skid. That's really important, because those business models, the electricity business model, just didn't work. Because if you think about it, in the simplest terms, electricity is not a shovable commodity. So when they produced electricity on their farm, if the utility company didn't have somewhere for it to go, they just flared off the gas, and it just, from a business model perspective, not a real good one. Renewable natural gas, though, so now instead of a PPA rate where they're selling electricity, that methane is scrubbed into natural gas, and it's called renewable natural gas. Keep in mind that renewable natural gas is the same molecular structure as natural gas. The only difference is it comes from a renewable source instead of a fossil fuel. So if you think about in terms of where that industry is going, we have a transportation market, and it's shelvable. We can put it into a truck, we can haul it, we can take it places. So we have the transportation market, we have the industrial market, like in Amazon. So when you hear like, all these companies that go, I want to become carbon neutral by 2050. Well, how are they going to get there? So if you're Amazon and you build a 1,000,000 square foot distribution center, that's going to take a tremendous amount of something, right, to heat it and cool it. So they can use renewable natural gas, not natural gas, but renewable natural gas that comes from a renewable source. That's how they minimize their carbon footprint down to zero. So if you think about the long-term trajectory of renewable natural gas, it's really a big deal to dairy farms because it's so much more sustainable. But renewable natural gas digesters does nothing to mitigate the actual volume of cow manure. So that's kind of the elephant in the room. When we talk about these things, you hear about these projects and inevitably somebody will go, okay, but 3.6 gallons of cow manure for every gallon of milk, how can we sustain that? How can our environment sustain that? So the last final piece of this is the nutrient concentration system. And if you think about it in terms, the simplest way to describe is, think about it in terms of it's a mini municipal wastewater facility on a farm. So just like on the municipal level, all sorts of treatments and microbiology is eating the solids and things like that. And then sooner or later, there's water that comes out the other end of the municipal facility that's put in a stream somewhere. And if we look at this bottle of water, how much of this has been invented in the last 3 million years? None, right? So this is coming from somewhere. So people get freaked out when you think about cow manure with reclaiming water, and it's like municipal treatment facilities do it all the time. The laws that are in place, not only on a national level with the EPA, but in particular here in the state of Wisconsin, are incredibly stringent. Wisconsin has some of the toughest water rules in the country. If only they would, sometimes back them up, but they're on the statutes. So what a nutrient concentration system does is it solves a lot of these problems. So now that you guys kind of understand the basis of it, I can get into a little more details. And then I've got just a short video that shows the system in action. So if we look at their farm in particular, doing so many things correctly. I mean, I travel all over the Midwest, country, state, and what they're doing on their farm is really progressive. And someday it will be what's required. But today they've taken the steps to make sure that it's.
You're generating electricity today. You were,
Natural gas, renewable natural gas.
okay, you were scrubbing it and you were burning off some dirty stuff and you were running a generator, big generator.
Yeah, the gas is getting tanked from our facility to Chilton and injected into the line in Chilton.
So you're not generating electric
Our
anymore?
electricity contract was up and we started generating
May of 2020.
renewable natural gas May of 2020.
Oh, okay,
So they're halfway there.
all right.
So big step. You guys understand what that means? The longevity of a project like this is based on what's going to happen to the product that you're producing.
A number of years ago, we also looked at, we went down to FICO, well, you and I went down to that facility there, and they were talking about, I know you're taking the solids and you're using that for bedding. And that assume still continues, because that's a byproduct of the digester. You squeeze it out and use it for bedding. That still goes on. And you're now taking that gas and you're having it trucked out as renewable gas, usable gas?
Yeah.
Okay, so there was also at FICO, they were talking about creating like pellets or something that could be another revenue stream for the farm, fertilizer or whatever. But I don't know, that was a big investment as I recall.
Well, do you mind if I step in?
No, Chris, you can share.
Yeah, so I've been fighting this battle for a lot of years. Back to 2011, when I was in the governor's office. The pelletization, so when we talk about nutrients, and I don't want to get too technical, but if you just look at the NPK ratios of manure, those nutrients are all needed for something, right?
Right.
So we're bringing phosphorus in, we're bringing nitrogen in. So we're not, in this particular system, we're not eliminating anything, but what you're talking about is right now, the Schmidt Jersey land has They're taking that fiber and using it as bedding, which is a big step. Sooner or later, that byproduct can be added to soil that's deficient in phosphorus to grow crops. And the idea behind this whole system is, when do we want to apply those nutrients? Do we want to shotgun them in the spring and the fall like we do now, when the majority of the nutrient value is lost? Or do we want to apply them strategically during the growing season so they're absorbed at root level and actually are good for something?
Mhm.
It goes into a whole other conversation,
Right.
which we can take up at a tavern somewhere close, but because
No,
it talks about the
no,
carbon
that-
cycle.
That really is the more important point.
It is.
Because if you cut hay and then you go and you apply nutrient onto that cut hay, you're providing a nutrient that then starts to grow. It gets picked right up. It doesn't go into the ground.
So if you simplify it down, there's two ways to stimulate growth in the spring during the growing season. And that's because soil, what I like to say, is alive. It has microbiology in there. If you put organics on there at the appropriate time, it keeps that microbiology alive. That's the catalyst to growth. Or we can use a synthetic Monsanto. The soil's dead. That's dirt. And so to stimulate the growth, we've got to inject something synthetic to get it going. And I don't care. My grandfather was president of the NFO, so he taught me all about all these things, 35 years ago. And I don't care how traditional a farmer you are, you understand that it's better long-term to have a soil be alive than have it be dead and feeding it full of synthetics. So that's the ultimate goal of the system. And we can really do a good job of managing these nutrients. So we can get into that. If you think about, there's three streams that come out of this system. So when rock manure comes out of the digester, what we call digestate, it goes through a screw press and some separation equipment that captures that fiber. So if you think about a gallon of cow manure, 15 to 20% of that is fiber, big solids. So if you think about solids on a 8 to 12%, right? Solid count, but it equates to about 10 to 20% of the original volume. So we take that out, most of it, reclaim that as bedding. At the appropriate time, that can be put on, blended into the soil where the soil is deficient in phosphorus, because when you're talking about water quality, we want it to be nitrogen and phosphorus are the two benefits of crop growth, but demons to our watershed, right? So that's what we want to control. So now we're applying that phosphorus at some point to farms or fields that are deficient to it. Now pelletizing, we can do that, but here's the sticking point, and here's why you don't see that in Wisconsin. And I've been talking about this for years and years and years. Wisconsin has an obscure law that says that if you're Monsanto and you bring in phosphorus or nitrogen, when you drop it off at the dairy, or what we call the permittee, so a farm is permitted, they're the permittee. When they drop it off there, their liability is gone. So if that ends up falling into a creek, kills fish, whatever, it's the permittee's problem. Well, the debate that Frank Winters, Mr. Thumbreakers over here, and I have been having with the DNR is, when does manure stop being manure and when does it become actual nutrients again? Because that definition is everything. And the technology prior to the last 10 years, when these have been adapted, there wasn't a technology to kill the pathogens and to separate. 2016, University of Wisconsin, Green Bay did a study, and they said, if we could only apply manure during the growing season, because it's coming out of the digester, so it has 90% pathogen reduction. If we could just apply it to the land, then that would save all of our problems. And so they started issuing manure irrigation permits to farms to do that. The problem is there's too many solids in it. The pathogens, they figure once they go into the lagoon, even for a little bit of time, it's like a petri dish in there for pathogens. They come back, they aerate up to 14 miles. Shoot, we lost. But the idea was there. That was the important thing. The DNR said, gosh, if we could just figure that out. So now the system does it. The problem is to sell it, to pelletize it and sell it. There's a really weird law that says once it comes off the Schmidt farm and it's pelletized, the permittee is responsible for that manure, even though it's no longer manure, it's pelletized organic fertilizer. Their liability is on them forever. So they sell it to Ace Hardware in Wapaka, and some goofball does something and the liability is still back on the permittee. It's a law that has to be changed in Wisconsin, or that industry will never come to fruition. Now, they can get a fertilizer permit, and it's very complicated. So what we do in this case, we're lucky because the nutrients that are on the farm are still needed on the farm. But there are projects where there's 3 or 4 farms coming together where you have more nutrients than you know what to do with. And that's the case when pelletizing would make more sense.
Okay.
So it's both from a economic standpoint, it is expensive, but the ROIs work out. It becomes a real liability issue right now in Wisconsin. So that's,
So beyond that, then what does this system?
so then we can get into the details what this system does.
All right, I'm sorry if I sidetracked you.
Not at all. Like I said, I could talk all night, so.
So we don't have all night.
You got a lot of other stuff here.
We want to get home before the ice.
Sure. So if you look at the 3 streams, manure comes in, we separate that fiber out. That's 10 to 20% of the original gallon of manure. Is that fiber, they use that. We talked about what to do with that. The rest of it goes through an ultrafiltration system at about 1 to 1.5% total separated solids. So if you think about separated solids, if you've ever had a kid or a grandkid that's eating goldfish or crackers, and they say, hey, can I get a drink of your water? They drink the water and now the stuff's floating in there. That's separated solids. Okay, so that goes through the ultrafiltration system. And the reject from that filtration system is product number 1. And that's what you see as the ultrafiltration concentrate. If you look at the ratio of nutrients, it mimics cow manure. But instead of being 100% of the volume, it's now less than 1/3 of the original volume, right? And so the rest of the stream goes into an RO system, reverse osmosis system. The RO system has the similar membranes to sea membranes that you use for ocean salt delineation. Same type of technology. That creates 2 streams. So now we've got 1 stream that goes 1/3 back to a lagoon. The other 2/3 goes to the reverse osmosis system. The reverse osmosis system is 2 streams. One of them is the key to this whole thing. And it's what we call the RO concentrate. If you look at the nutrient breakdown of that, virtually no phosphorus, no solids, no pathogens, but it's the nitrogen and potassium. So when you talk about in between cuts of hay, now we've got a non-sticky substance that you don't have to worry about that gummy residue on crops. And that potash, the nitrogen is inorganic. So, you know, the alfalfa doesn't need that, but it can use all the potash it can get. So 30 pounds per 1,000, I mean, that can make a huge difference. So now we take that product, and if it's needed for nitrogen, then we can drip line it into corn and things like that. But we're talking about that product being used during the growing season as an organic fertilizer. That's the key to it, because now we've got a 2/3 reduction of the original volume. So that's a big deal. And then the third product, of course, is dischargeable clean water that here in the state of Wisconsin, Frank and I helped develop the program to get this permit where it actually was attainable. There was a few hurdles. I'll go over them in 30 seconds. That water is actually, when it comes out of the system, is cleaner than tap water, and it doesn't have any oxygen. So it's similar to distilled water. Well, if you put that into a stream, you're going to suffocate fish. It's going to be a big problem. So we actually have to add oxygen back in. And then whatever the DNR wants for a particular watershed, then we have that water mimic it. From temperance to calcium to, you know, oxygen, whatever the DNR requires, the system can accommodate. And so that's at least 1/3. We can go up to 40% of the original volume. So now when you talk about trucks off the road, this is a short video. This shows the system, and then we'll get into, and I'm almost done, guys, so we're,
Okay, I don't know if I can make that view any bigger.
I may be able to.
Well, that's not gonna work. I did something wrong.
There you go.
what we do at Aqua Innovations, it's really quite simple. You take your manure and turn it into stream dischargeable water, very similar to what we're seeing in the background. It's really changing the game from a farm's perspective on their nutrient management plan.
We take what is otherwise a kind of a static product, manure, and we break it into various nutrient streams. And what comes into this building as manure, 2 hours later, leaves as crystal clear water that's received in a creek about 1,200 feet to the east.
The biggest part of our system is that it works. It's not done in a lab. It's done in real time. We're at multiple locations right now, and we're currently discharging millions of gallons per month on dairies right now.
I think one of the things that sets the Aqua system apart is ease of operation. I have the ability as a service technician to see everything that is happening on the system, whether I'm in the office, on the road, or on site, through use of computers, mobile devices, as well as the instrumentation we have on hand. I get alarms on my phone that would notify me that whether I'm on site or not. So everything that we approach is from living with this system day to day and making it easy and functional for a farmer to use at the end of the day. The county thought it was important to invest in a nutrient concentration system for a number of reasons. Our mission and our goal in investing in nutrient concentration is to preserve our farm family's way of life while cleaning up our lakes. And so this partnership was a great way to work with our farm families to be able to be on the cutting edge of technology that help farmers stay in business, giving them a productive thing to do with their manure, and help us clean our lakes.
One of the biggest questions I get is who takes care of the permit process to get the stream discharged? Well, that's quite simple. We do. We take care of all that, and we've been successful in doing that.
Permit process here in Wisconsin is very difficult to get one. So Chris and I went to the DNR, kind of formed a model that we will be using as we go forward with farmers and CAFOs throughout the state of Wisconsin to simplify the process, where we can pretty much tell these farmers the process to get it simplified and get it done.
Every week of the year, we test that water, we supply it to Ag Source, and we submit the results to the DNR. And every time we satisfy the requirements. Nobody else is saying that. And that's a big deal. When I look to the future and I think of the role that nutrient concentration systems play in them, I'm very excited. It's the answer to a lot of challenges that farmers are facing. It's the answer to some of our challenges with protecting our environment. And because we're able to demonstrate here that this works, this kind of partnership can work, we're hoping that we can replicate this throughout Dane County and then be a model for other folks beyond, because this shows that it works, that you can come together and you can really make a big difference in your community. I see the reaction that literally every farmer has when we describe what this system does. And when we show them water discharging to a creek, I see their eyes light up, so we know we're on to something. And that's what excites me most, is we're solving a problem for some really good people in probably the most important industry that this state has.
If you're a dairy farmer looking for more information on Aqua Innovations, reach out to me personally. I'd love to have a conversation.
Okay, so that gives you kind of an idea of the system. And so what does this mean to the Schmitz project? Okay, so for Jersey Land specific, we're talking the RO concentrate, which is that product that we can put on the fields during the growing season, 10 million gallons. The FDA water released 10 million gallons. And these are pretty conservative numbers, but you know, at a minimum, this is what they'll be. So think about that. That's enough water. I mean, it's easy to say millions of gallons, right? But how do we possibly quantify how much that is and give some perspective to it? If you think about it, without businesses in Sturgeon Bay, if we just did households, that would be enough water, 300 gallons per person per year. That would be enough water to supply Sturgeon Bay residents for over 2 years. Think about that. That's a lot.
Now, that's clean water.
That's clean water.
Does that then offset what you have to take out of the ground with your deep wells?
It does. So some of it is repurposed on the farm, but in the winter months, most of it's just gonna go downstream. So depending on the time of year and what the water is needed for, it can be repurposed on the farm, but there's times when that's just not, we don't need sprinklers, we don't need this. So a lot of water will be going back into the watershed. So clean water.
Canopy River.
Chris, can't you feed, the water can be watered for animals?
That's been an ongoing debate forever. It certainly can be. But this is my personal opinion, and my mind can always be changed. Do you want to buy a cheese from a plant that was feeding their cows with manure? Because a lot of people don't know the difference between water. Oh my God, they were recycling manure and they were feeding their animals with it. Just from a PR perspective, I see it being problematic. I mean, not saying that it's impossible to overcome that, but you know what I'm saying?
Well, if you can put it in the stream, you can feed it to it.
And like I said, municipal wastewater, it's
Your
this,
milk plant weighs into that pretty heavy.
yeah. So just,
I was at a meeting last week and I was getting information on this presented by another CAFO, and his statement was that we're going to be reducing 100 loads of manure right now down to 2. Would that be reasonable?
well, we've got about 1,700 less trucks on the road.
Now, are you working with other CAFOs in this Kiwanee and Door County?
Yeah.
Okay, then we're probably talking to the same man I was talking to.
Yeah.
And so this is really exciting stuff. This is the way it's got to go. I don't know if you were looking for something from this township or just
So-
informing us.
Yeah, so really, we're just trying to stay ahead of it because this project is so important for the Schmidt family, and you guys kind of be in the center of this township. People will come to you and go, oh my God, I heard this. They're throwing manure down into the stream. They're doing this. So to have you guys have somewhat of an education, and you say, wait a second, this is, really gonna change the way dairy's done in Wisconsin. And they're
But
staying
this will
ahead of it.
reduce your trucking quite a bit.
1,700 trucks.
And that's a very conservative number. The RO concentrate as well, that can be put on growing crops. The goal is to put that on drop nozzle irrigation, low pressure drop nozzle irrigation, which we've talked over the years about. That would be the next step.
From an environmental standpoint, this is like a twofold system. You're taking off emission from the trucks off the road.
Yep.
And you're actually putting clean water back in. This is a
No,
big
they
deal.
The statement I had, I don't know where you ship your milk to, where you ship.
Saputo.
Where?
Saputo.
So, okay, Agricor, I guess, has got a little problem with feeding water from here to the cows, so they haven't approved that yet. So, anyway, so that's something to think about. But yeah, I was approached, Lee quickly got a hold of me and started talking to me about this whole system, and it's very exciting. It's very good stuff. Is that, how big of a expense is that for you to put in? Is that a multi-million-dollar? To me, that's a multi-million-dollar operation.
Very big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna finance this to the town, right?
That's what we're doing.
We got another subject we're gonna be talking about.
This is huge.
Yeah, very
Did
good.
you have more for that?
Yeah, so that's it. So, no, but I mean, just to summarize, so to your point, we have the trucks off the road.
And the only reason I'm going to do that is so that we can get the overall video back. Somehow.
So
We'll figure it out. There it is.
Once you found out that she's like, I want to China, she's gonna wait for you. There you go.
Yeah, it's on YouTube,
Yeah, I'll load it.
Yeah, Mass wants to see this.
Okay.
So yeah, just to summarize, you have the trucks off the road, and then you have those nutrients being applied during the growing season. And so 2/3 reduction, I mean, that's.
yeah. You're only talking 2/3 of the big reduction. I was hearing.
But then you also
95.
have your,
If you want to include the solids in there, I'm more of a pragmatic than that. So there's all sorts of ways to get more than that, but as a rule of thumb, this is where we start because we know that can perform day in and day out. So there are other technologies out there that now that you guys heard this story, if it's using, flocculants, chemicals, in my mind, that's a problem. The guy that developed this was a professor from the University of Wisconsin that had 3 goals. One, to make it where no chemicals, make it economical, and have it work 24 hours a day. And simple, but man, on a dairy farm, in a working environment, manure, so caustic, really, really difficult. So we don't like to overpromise on the water reclamation, but yeah, there's all sorts of things we do to make the water reclamation better. Like if you think about leachate and runoff water, that's a big topic with the DNR, right? So we bring that water collected into a receiving pit. Well, just like anything, if the thinner that goes into the nutrient concentration system, the more you're going to reclaim. So instead of all that water going into the lagoon and being spread in the fall, we have retention times on the system with the manure, where if you get a 3-inch rain, that fires right through and is released instead of going to a lagoon. And then the manure is brought back in, or on a steady rain like you'd have tonight, that doses the effluent coming in, dilutes it, and so we get more water reclamation. So to your point, yeah, there's ways that we can really up that water reclamation, but a lot of times, depending on the nutrient needs of the farm, that's the cool thing to talk about, but the nutrients, that potassium and nitrogen is a big deal.
Right.
So depending on what the farm's needs are, we can calibrate the system to accommodate that.
When CAFO's got electrical companies or electrical enterprise to come in and generate electricity from manure, they were a separate operation. They put up the building, they put up the infrastructure and everything. And CAFO could not use that electricity. That was not theirs. Is this part of the CAFO operation now? Is it going to be their operation, or is this going to be a separate company coming in?
So the partners on the project are right here in this room. So the farm, to participate on one side without participating on the other side, to me, just seemed like a terrible business model too, because now you have an antagonistic approach
That's
to
right, yeah.
the operations and everything else. Now everybody is seeing the same things. We're all on the same side. If something needs to be done, we can do it most efficiently and quickly, and capitalize on selling the gas, but also bring back the efficiency of the farm. So I think they need to go hand in hand. If you're in Detroit or San Francisco, it makes all the sense in the world to say, hey, Randy, we'll take on this project, we'll put up the capital for it, and we get 90% of the benefit, and we'll throw you some scraps.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the model that's in Wisconsin. It's one of them. And I don't see how that long-term is going to work. You know, things on a dairy farm are decisions need to be made quickly, and somebody needs to be on the farm that understands it. And this makes more
So do
sense.
you guys educate somebody that's gonna be operating the system?
So we have operations people in place. The nutrient concentration system is actually going through a certification program in the state technical school.
Mhm.
And so I'm helping actually do the class structure. for
Because it seems
those.
like there's some kind of a hydrology background going on with all this. And
Yeah, somebody needs to be trained properly
Yeah.
for sure. And right now, Aqua Innovations, the company that we use, they can see everything from the plant, they monitor everything. But, we'll bring Tanner and everybody up to speed quickly.
So if Jersey Land says, yes, this is a goal, from when will it be operational if it starts in spring?
We're trying to have it operational at the end of the fall. So, pretty exciting.
So no more trucks on the road come November or?
Oh, you guys are going.
We're hoping.
There you go.
That's my interest. I'm a little selfish.
So that's it, that's what I have.
Very good. Well,
Sounds like
thank you.
win-win.
Interesting.
I like it.
So at some point, we'll be permitting process. We'll need I believe in this township, we need a conditional use permit. For
No, that's the, we're.
That's the county.
That's county, we're county zoning and you have to go through the county. You'll be talking about Suzanne and Langenberg
Nutrient concentration.
and is who you'll be working with. And yeah, that's just, you need to start that now, yes. Yeah.
And also, like, there's systems in operation. If you are interested in taking a tour, taking a drive and seeing the system in operation, that's.
You've got it partially operating right now,
Well,
or
Not on our
not on
facility.
your facility?
This is on other facilities.
the one, there's what you saw in the video was down in Dane County,
Yeah.
and it has a gasket, a digester, a nutrient concentration system, solar, and batteries. So they're completely off the grid. That's kind of like the platform of everything that is possible on a farm, and it services 3 farms. So we give tours on that a lot.
Is that the outside of Wanakee? What is it?
That's on Middleton. So Wanakee has gas and digesters,
You're right,
but then in Middleton, it has everything.
that has everything. Okay.
Yeah.
I did not go there.
Solar in my dreams.
Well, so what solar does to this, and that's a conversation for a different day, is we'd like to take the power that we use on the system and use solar, and then Faith Technologies has a company called Entech that's below them, that they have batteries that here in Wisconsin, solar is kind of like, are you serious? 40%, 50% efficiency. But when that solar can charge those batteries, and now we have a reliable source for the project, we take away all the electricity for the project, which is significant. So that's, we're exploring that, but we don't, this is first. So,
Will you be able to use your existing building where the engine was in for like?
That would require another building.
It
That
requires-
building's completely full of gas.
Really? But that was all converted to gas, transfer gas. And that's, you have a semi there, look,
Tankers.
tankers can get it.
Some semi-tanks.
Interesting. I didn't know that happened.
It's good.
Well, thank you for.
you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for your time.
Yeah,
Appreciate it. Let you guys get on with your night business. And
Oh, we have, even though my stack is small, we have two things to cover.
you get out of here too.
Well, thank you.
All right, any questions, feel free to give us a call.
How's frost look for frost line down there, 36 inches is it?
Or more.
Or more?
Yeah, I was talking to an excavator this morning and he said in driveways and stuff, 5 to 6 feet.
Oh, really? Holy cow.
That last grave we dug up there.
Yeah, a little snow covered.
Yeah.
All right, take care.
Thanks,
Yeah, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep her on.
She Madison's going for environmental engineering. And she wanted to chime in. So
This is very exciting
that is.
information on it. You knew something had to change in how we handle manure, and this is very exciting.
I saw all the water bottles. I thought they were giving away samples.
Actually, the water is fit to drink when they put it, yeah, it's that.
That's gonna be one of the biggest sells, I think, in this whole thing, so.
Well,
yeah,
Hey,
it works for me.
yeah,
It'd be nice not to have
we
more trucks on the road.
eat blue
Yeah.
cheese that's got mold in it, so,
Right.
you know,
I drink one.
you drink wine.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay, Lauren, you're right on time here.
Is that right?
Yeah, we're right on the schedule here, Sedendorf Fire Department. A lot of interesting, a lot of things happening, rescue all the time.
Rescue last night again.
Last night.
Yeah, last night off of
the ice.
Hot Park, Sawyer Harbor.
Yeah,
Yep, 2 guys, I guess. Last I heard, some guy was standing on his ATV or whatever. So they got him out. They walked to the ambulance, so they were.
Oh, yeah.
Is ice that bad?
I don't know the story. If they were out near the channel,
Oh,
farther out, or you just hear them say, driveways
Yeah.
are 3 feet, 5 feet of frost, you would think,
Yeah, I would think.
for
ice would be
some
pretty
reason,
good.
they went through. I can't tell you, I didn't hear it. So. I'm gonna try to catch you up a little bit on the last couple of meetings that we've had. Last 3 meetings, to be particular. We've had 2 regular meetings, one in January, one in February, and then a special meeting also in February. No, January. So in brief, I'm gonna highlight, the January 12th meeting, we had 2 sales reps. One from Pierce Manufacturing and one from Marion Truck Works. Both the fire truck companies, both gentlemen came, gave their presentation on their company's trucks respectively. Each were there half hour, 45 minutes, gave their presentation. That one guy was did really well. When all was said and done, the price difference between the 2 trucks was $1,900. The companies know each other. They know what it costs to make a truck nowadays. So they know. So the Marion truck was $1,900 more at a price of $687,000.
$115. People are saying, well, 1,900, why'd you go 1,900 more? Service. The head truck guy, Dave Hockey, says, it's so easy to work with. He said that means a lot, service nowadays. So there was, after the sales reps left, there was lots of discussion on the accessories on it, the length of it, the light towers, where it's gonna go. Did everybody have enough input on it? You know, there was a lot of discussion after the sales reps left. Both by firemen and board members. Also, they had ample times to ask questions to the sales reps. There was no vote that night. For one, it wasn't on the agenda. And two, we had two gentlemen that were joining by wasn't Skype either, they were just by voice. So it was a little hard to get their their input. So that was January 12th, I believe the date was. January 19th, we had a special meeting to discuss possibly purchasing this truck, a truck. Again, ample time was allotted for discussion, and a vote was held with a motion to hold off on the purchase. The motion failed by a vote of 3-5. Second motion came through to go with the Marion truck, and the vote passed 5-3. Again, enough time was allotted for discussion. On to the February 9th meeting. Here come the financial numbers for you, Ruth. The treasurer reported $80,863.46 in checking, $416,278.62 in our money market, $50,395.14 in our capital credit union certificate, and $101,926.39 in our ISDA annuity. And I didn't total it up. I mean, I didn't write the total up. So I apologize for that.
Want me to add them up quick? I come up with 649,000. About.
Yeah. I say, I apologize. I had the numbers in front of me at home. I just didn't write it on my notes here. Then the chief reported 11 fire calls. This is just the last month now. No fire calls. This is ice rescue, CO detectors, fire alarms, road accidents. So 11 fire calls and 19 EMR calls. He reported that the county is going to a 3-number system for numbering fire trucks, which means all the fire trucks need to get renumbered. So like truck 15 will be 915. Truck 6 will be 906, so on and so forth.
Sure, Sturgeon Bay has 3 numbers, I believe.
I think so.
I followed one today, and yes.
I think so already.
Or it just links, I got it.
Because there's been some confusion on a couple of Mavis calls, trucks having the same numbers. So
Same numbers.
like we'll be in the 900, so they'll automatically Southern Doors 900 something.
There you go.
6.5 years ago, I left
So,
the fire board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 firemen have started the new officer class. So we get more people with credit and leadership in the department. And Scott Anderson has been put on the department as a fireman. New hire,
Who was that?
Scott Anderson. March 19th is our,
S-O-N.
is,
You're not sure?
I think so.
Okay.
March 19th is the Fireman's Annual Banquet, where 3 firemen will be presented with plaques for years of service. Randy Massart retired for his 41 years of service. Steve Melville for 15 years. And Kyle Starr, who had, well, Steve Melville went to the board, and Kyle Starr retired, not retired, just turned in his uniform for 16 years of service.
Is Kyle moving out to this area? That he not gonna be?
No, just hanging it up, just, doesn't have the time, wants to spend, more with the family, the kids are getting older, sports, whatever, so he's just doing that. In all other matters, we were looking into call charging, and we especially wanted to charge for ice rescue. That seems to be very popular. That we should, try to get these fishermen that go out ice fishing, and then especially we get groups up from Chicago, and they're Russian, they're Polish or whatever, and these guides take them out, and all of a sudden there's 30 people caught on the ice. But after talking with Bug Fire Department Chief Kurt Vandertine, he says their return on getting financial back from the ones who they bill is practically zero. For some reason, they just know, even though there's a threat on the bottom of the invoice that says it may be taken to the Door County court system, their return is practically zero. They do charge for all calls, like for accidents and whatever. Says that like car accidents, insurance companies pay pretty well. But he says the ice rescue, and that's kind of what they say. That's kind of what we want to go for, was ice rescue. But so that's being dropped as of now. It's been visited in the past, and it just never gets off the table. So we're still waiting. Julie from the Door County Economic Development Corporation is still working on grants. Have not heard back on any accepted grants yet. And then at our last meeting, the very last thing on our agenda is correspondence. And we got a letter from Steve Melville, who's on the board. Has he turned in a letter to the town of Forestville
No,
at all?
no. He retired from the county.
Steve Melville?
Did he? No, okay.
He's got the radiator shop.
Okay, yeah, that's like Raider shop, yeah.
Okay.
I got another Steve.
I got a copy here, and he turned this into his town board, the town of Nassau, and he said he was gonna be turning it into the other chairmans of the other municipalities. His letter states, "Good evening. First, I would like the board to know that what I am writing is solely from me. You can take it with a grain of salt or take it to heart. This board did not take any advice from me, other members of the board, and did not even consider the recommendations by 2 members of the vehicle committee. When I was still a member of the fire department, not one person from the vehicle committee asked me to what they thought would be a good for a new truck. But as board members, we are supposed to ask questions to know the subjects. We have a duty to call members and get their ideas and input, not only on a truck, but on any matter regarding the department. We have a responsibility to listen and discuss any and all issues pertaining to the Southern Fire Department. We're supposed to be leaders uniting a fire department, which includes the people not only the south and the north as well. As board members representing the Southern Fire Department means both stations. I find it ironic that 3 board members that ask questions and talk to members of the North Station as to what they wanted on a truck were blatantly ignored, and others decided to vote to buy a new truck that the South Station wanted, but does not meet the North's needs. This is not an example of listening. The division in this fire department should end right here with us, the fire board. If you don't want to attend meetings and talk to members and listen from both fire stations, maybe you need to rethink your position on the fire board. I personally don't know of any CEO of any company that doesn't know what's going on within their company or companies. I was a primary engineer at the North Station and personally believe this board has been conned into getting rid of a truck that was still good and had a lot of life left. How many people asked Scott at SNR Truck Center what he thought of Unit 7, the one we're replacing? I personally did. For those of you that may not know it, Scott has been servicing Unit 7 for years. Personally, this new truck doesn't have anything that the North asked except for the suspension and a light, which was put on at the last minute without looking at other departments' ideas of tower lights. We had the Pierce truck down to 642,000 with a deluge plumbed in. Now, the number he's throwing out here, the 642,000, is a number that he personally went to Pierce Manufacturing and got a quote on. This is not the committee's recommendation of the truck. This is his own recommendation. For another 28,000, we could have had a cascade system on there and still would have been cheaper than Marion. This board has to clean up the leadership within the Southern Fire Department for betterment of the department. I have been in business for 30 years and nobody has given me a handout, and I've never asked for one. I have had to be frugal and I know the value of a dollar. As I see it, this is a business playing with taxpayers' money. In my opinion, this board was financially irresponsible in this entire transaction. I'll be giving an update at my next town board meeting about this purchase. And then he just goes on to quote, as leaders of, we should remember God's words. He quotes Philippians 2, verse 3 and 4, signed Steve Melville, board member, Southern Fire Department.
Now, he's representing the town of Nassau.
He's an asshole.
One of Nassau he represents.
He's the one that got put on it when JC got taken off the board.
Okay, so he, and he's referring to the vote of 5-3, is that what he's referring to?
Right.
Okay, so he didn't feel that he got listened to and he voted to not to buy the fire truck.
Right,
Okay.
yep.
Okay.
So I have a rebuttal letter here from me.
Yeah, please read it.
Okay. At our last meeting, before we adjourned, Steve Melville read a letter on his opinion about the new fire truck. Now, we should back up. The Nassau Town Board meeting was the other night. And we thought, he presented his letter to the town board, but he did not read it. So there were myself, Rich Olson, 20 firemen at this meeting. So we thought he was gonna, read his letter, but he just turned in his letter. He did not read it, so. But I had this letter written up, so. Again, the last meeting, Steve, I am not representing the board or their opinions on this matter tonight. I am here to give my opinion on this criticism of the Southern Fire Department, Southern Fire Department Board and Department. I can see and I can acknowledge his disappointment on the outcome of the vote for this new truck. But some of the facts have been construed, saying that we did not take his advice or consider recommendations from others is not correct. I have listened to Steve, but he is only one person out of the entire group that I have to consider. The vehicle committee voted on what they wanted on the truck. They brought the recommendations and presented it before the board. This was after 1.5 years of assessing their options. They were trying to conclude this before a significant price increase February 1st. Let's go over some of the facts. Number one, the vehicle committee members had ample time to convey their thoughts in 1.5 years. Scott at SNR, who Steve referred to in his letter, certified the truck chassis for the fire department. Scott cannot work on any fire apparatus, pumps, or anything pertaining to firefighting. He does chassis, wheels, motor, engine, whatever. The committee acknowledged that they had one truck and a station with a cascade system on already and did not seem necessary to add it to this new truck. The current truck is 20 years old. So when you compare apples to apples on the two different trucks, Now, this is, the price was, the price that Steve went and got his truck, the price he went and got on himself, the price is 1.7% difference. Or the $66,000, 1.7% difference. When we got the original quoted price of $754,000, I personally told the vehicle committee chairman, I said, that price is not gonna fly. He says, you need to go sharpen your pencils and get this truck down. And they did get 680 down to 687. We were able to reduce the price by 11.3%. From my personal experience, we tried to balance the firefighters' needs and the taxpayers. Playing with taxpayers' money is just not an option. The Thunder Fire Board has a combined experience of over 50 years of servicing this community and making it better for everyone. As a board member, I listened to everyone who had concerns for the Thunder Fire Department. Yes, the North and South departments need to mend the rift between them. I think the board did a great job in hiring Rich Olson as chief. He has been making every effort and mission to bring the North and South together as one. I could sit here and stretch or mislead the truth after being accused of negligence of my duties on the board, but I'm here to state the facts, not disgrace anyone. There's always two sides to every story, and I hope you will listen with open minds. I appreciate, thank you for giving me the opportunity to give one side of the story. On a final note, we will most likely be discussing this issue of this letter at our next meeting.
Okay.
This is what I was gonna read the other night at Nassau, but when he didn't read his letter, I didn't feel reading my letter would, most everyone, it wouldn't make any sense to anybody, so.
Now, this truck that you ordered is replacing a truck which you're gonna sell, I presume.
Yes.
You're gonna sell that truck.
Yes,
That's truck number 7?
7,
And this is gonna be a truck stationed at the North Station.
right.
Okay. So
Right. Actually, it's a combined rescue pumper, so it's actually been replacing 2, so that when the next rescue truck comes up for replacement, it'll probably just be, faded out into retirement, I would imagine then, but. And
Delivery is looking a year from
we're
now.
looking all a little over a year
Yeah.
from Marion.
Yeah.
Pierce was 24 to 28 months, they're a little bit farther out,
And you're guaranteed the price.
price is guaranteed.
Wonderful.
You put a down payment on it?
Not yet. Not yet. I haven't gotten the invoice from Marion yet. They're supposed to send me the invoice and it's been over a week now, so they haven't. And then we also did approve a loan going with Capital Credit Union.
Okay.
What about all your excess monies in inventory here? We have checking, money market, capital CD, annuity.
We can pay off the loan without any repercussions of,
Yeah.
early paying. So
Yeah.
as soon as we get,
Something
as soon as
available,
we get, right,
Okay.
as soon as we find that money is available, we can pay off what we figure we can.
because all those monies were earmarked for that truck,
Right.
so.
Right, the capital credit union that comes due next spring, like March, April, somewhere's in there, and the ISDA, so there's 150,000 right there.
Yeah, because you should have about 650, which adds up here because it's 6.5 years ago I left that board, so it should be $650,000. So.
Good.
But again, our allotment is 347,000, our
Your annual budget is you're gonna.
annual budget, so we can't go down to the last dollar,
Right.
that, so.
Bigger people.
There it goes, so, but I'm,
Paid quite a bit of it though.
So are they going through the inventory of the trucks and starting to like phase out a lot of other ones that are?
we're working on one now,
Right.
and that's enough of a hassle with keeping everybody.
Well, because I mean, to get that old grass truck, that old,
And from what I hear, we can just maybe replace the stuff that's in the bed,
Yeah.
the pumping system and firefighting stuff that's in the bed of the truck. The truck's not actually that bad or that old.
no,
I
but I
mean,
mean,
it's older, but it's.
but they bought the ATV or the UTV to replace that truck, or basically to take care of grass fires, which you had a grass fire truck,
A brush fire.
a brush fire, yeah. So I mean, it would make sense eventually that they might want to get rid of the truck.
Yeah.
Anything else, Lauren?
Did you get that article?
No. No, I
You
didn't.
get it.
Well, you didn't find nothing here?
I think Roy, you said he had a copy. Articles of Incorporation for the.
I
Southern-
believe so. Back when we were talking about how much money the fire department needed, I think I got the complete whole thing.
The credit union wants that.
Okay, let me,
Articles of incorporation,
articles of incorporation.
pretty sure, well, Chuck Sly is in Florida, so I've been trying to get some of the financial, they want the last 3 years of our financial statements. I raided the file cabinets down at the fire station. I found most of that. They want to know how we're funded.
Lauren, I won't be able to get that to you tomorrow,
No problem.
but,
Thank you for writing a rebuttal. That was nice.
Well,
It's good to hear both sides though. I mean,
it's
you
nice
have
to hear
to-
both sides.
yeah.
You're right. If you just heard his side of the story, you're gonna go, wow, what's going on there?
Right.
You know? And it's like, Steve actually can say he went on his own and got his own price from Pierce it was, and the guy calls Dave Hockey back and says, what's this guy doing? Calling me for a price on a fire truck.
you're not,
What's going on? What's going on with this other fire department?
Cause I logged on too and I got a price for one too, so.
Well, no wonder why.
Inside track.
Well, I do.
So,
Well, now both sides will be on YouTube.
Yeah, very good. Okay,
so in case you get a letter now, you know what it's all, you heard it.
very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on then. Anything else, Lauren?
Nope, that should be it. I'm gonna go home for a good, H was slippery when I came in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was ready. I came off a stone road and kind of went like this, so
Be careful.
Is that your paper?
That's your paper.
don't waste too much time here.
Oh,
Now you're telling us it's an hour and a half into it.
we're gonna take a 5-minute break.
Thank you for.
All right.
Larry, did you get this?
I
Phil?
did.
You did,
Now,
okay.
what are
I
you addressing now?
I made a copy. Okay, good. I
Yeah.
started it and then I thought, well, I'll make a copy for
Well,
her.
I talked to Dawn and she told me I could send this thing in. I haven't turned in any
I'm
expenses on
excited
that
about your
project.
water.
Okay,
So I'm going to have to do that.
That wasn't a whole
You're
lot
talking about this
involved in
one.
it.
yes, yes.
I mean,
Same
You know,
thing.
yeah.
It is,
you know,
yeah.
Roy's
And I
asking
talked
me,
to
and I'm
her.
like,
I can
Well,
take
you know,
my
they
form
always
if
talk
you
about the
need
ways
it.
of
I mean,
control
unless you
closer
want
to
to
the
keep it.
I got it.
and that's
Okay,
kind of-
all right.
You know, I did notice there was this big gas truck and I'm like, what's going on here with this? And I was, now it all makes sense. It all makes sense. And it's a good thing though. I mean, it's huge.
it is huge.
Yeah, this,
It's just for all the people that always
you
were
sent me that
against
thing.
the cable
Pile.
Yeah.
for all these things. I mean, this is, you guys are
This
making a
is the
stride towards it, just at a
sub-grant
very big
information.
level. And people
Oh,
need to see
yes.
that.
Uh-huh.
you know, so-
And so there's up to a $600 reimbursement
I did.
authorized.
Mhm.
And so that's contractual service, IT services, personnel. I'm assuming that would have been my time that I'd spent going
yes.
around to everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I've been with, yours was the most recent one.
Is that the one that had to be in at a certain time?
This one has until August of
Okay,
2022.
okay. So are you gonna take care of that one then?
Yeah.
Okay. good.
I'll provide it
Sure,
probably.
sure. Mhm.
Because at first I'm gonna have to, I haven't even turned in an expense report, so I have
I
to do
know.
that. I mean, I've been at this thing.
And there's so many other things that come up all the time too that
Yeah.
need your
Well,
attention too.
we'll talk about that. as we
Sure.
go through here. That's part of this whole thing.
The weather is getting bad. It's the steps
Oh.
outside here.
Oh,
are very
wow.
slippery.
Mm.
Very slippery.
Okay.
Okay, moving on to the sanitary district, no report, anything from
No,
that?
no.
Larry, we missed the cemetery report, and I know we only had
Oh, I
one
didn't have it on here.
burial.
Well, there was a
Oh,
burial, yeah, it
And
was,
so
I didn't get
so
that.
let's move,
yeah.
Okay, approve
Oops.
this,
Yeah,
Jim.
let's move on to the American
There's
Rescue
nothing
Plan
in it.
and broadband. Larry, I was going through my notes, and it was in 2018 is when you attended a meeting on broadband. And we had a survey going on here. When people came into the, so let me bring you up to date.
I got this strange email.
Well, I'll get into that.
Okay,
Uh,
good.
Let me bring you up to date what's going on from the county with their American Rescue Plan. Tomorrow, the county board will be voting on resolution 2022 as far as how they're going to use the funds for the American Rescue Plan. And
I dug some information off of the website from the agenda for tomorrow.
yeah, and so after, the county had a lot of hearings as far as where they're going to use their money. They're getting a little over $5 million. And I'm just bringing this to your attention that for broadband, they're looking at investing $1 million into county money into broadband, or whatever it is. So that this is for your information, what the county is doing. Let's bring it to what we're talking about tonight. Last Wednesday, I found out that the town of Forestville was included in a application that Charter contacted 4 townships: Sebastopol, Nassau, Claybanks, and Sturgeon Bay, as see if they would be interested in participating in writing a grant. Steve Sullivan, the chair from Nassau, emailed this to me I got it on Wednesday morning, that and showed me a picture. Oh, Forestville was included in that too. So tomorrow at the county board, they are going to propose a resolution that the county then for this application donate $25 per person or per address for this supporting the program.
It's a little piece right there.
So Larry, I think you got mine. I think that you got my copy.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I saw it.
yeah, you got my copy because I had because you got that sheet right there. So
How many addresses are there?
they say 29.
29.
29, right. Now, here's what I can. Now, Larry, I'm apologizing to you because for some odd reason, I tried to send an email that I got, which I forwarded to my address, because tomorrow there's going to be a Zoom meeting
Yeah.
at 4 o'clock. And then after the Zoom meeting, there's going to be a county meeting on Zoom. The meeting at 4 o'clock is going to be on WebEx, and the county meeting is going to be on Zoom after this 1-hour presentation by Charter. And I forwarded it to myself, and then I tried to send it to Ruth because I can't email directly to you guys. I can't email that to you. So I don't know how to get this information to you.
Do you have a Zoom meeting ID and passcode?
Here is,
Like I did with this gentleman here?
Chris,
Chris?
here is the Zoom meeting.
Okay, no, that's
That's the one after the meeting.
this is okay, it's a webinar,
No, that's a Zoom meeting. That one there is a Zoom meeting.
correct. It's a Zoom webinar,
Yeah.
and it's got an ID
Mhm.
of 862-4242-0625 with a passcode of 594389, and it is 5 p.m. on February 22nd.
Mhm.
Okay. And that one will be a Zoom webinar.
Mhm. Ruth, you didn't get this neither, did you? See, the emails were going to, since we're such a small, they were just sending it to me. Now, the original, the one at 4 o'clock, I believe that's a WebEx. the way-
It's a WebEx, yes.
Yes, that's a WebEx.
And that meeting number is
Now, if
244.
Larry and I are both on it, do we have to, we weren't participating, we're just observing, do we have to have a notice?
Notice. You're both attending a meeting, I don't know.
I suppose you should put a notice tomorrow morning,
Mhm, mhm.
put it out there. and-
Okay.
And a notice that we're attending.
But you're
Zoom.
gonna be
A Zoom
two different
meeting.
locations, aren't you?
We'll
You're
be,
not gonna be together.
not, we're not gonna
No,
be
no.
together.
So who knows if he's zooming it and you're zooming it? Who knows that you both
Yeah,
zooming it
We're
at the
not,
same
we're not
time?
gonna be in the same car, we're not gonna be in the
Right.
same room.
You're not
Yeah.
gonna
You
be
wouldn't have to-
conversing. or-
No, we're not
gonna-
No,
No.
I don't think.
No,
they
we'll
need
just
to.
be observing, so that would
Yeah.
be no different than someone, when you got, or you're in the county board meeting, I'm sitting at home.
Yeah,
watching.
that's true, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to
Okay.
do that.
Okay. So I got, And the password. and I got WebEx,
Mhm,
Because it's like, why'd you put
and
it
this
there
meeting is
until-
at
4 o'clock.
mhm.
4 p.m.
That's 4 p.m.
on February 22nd.
Tomorrow,
Oh, they're gonna put 100 grand on it.
Um,
Borrowing land.
Yeah, they're gonna put 100 grand on it.
Yeah, because I got this thing that.
Yeah.
And I couldn't.
You couldn't do that, but I tried forwarding it to Ruth and she didn't get anything and
Well, I got what you sent me, but it's all, I mean, it was all like mumble jumble and with, I sent it to
Yeah.
you and
yeah,
and
I don't
Jason.
know
and-
what's.
We've got nothing.
Yeah,
We've got nothing.
yeah.
So and I took stuff off the county board, and I knew that they had addresses figured out from the county board meeting, because I got that breakdown, this proposed grant participation. Now, I get two questions on that.
You
Okay,
can widen it up and look at all that. I tried getting you can see the number address, they have addresses on it.
there's 29, I don't know if we can show this, but there are 29 addresses
Okay.
listed for the town of Forestville, and those are residences. Now,
And that
I'm
goes-
a
it's just
little
little
confusion
portion.
on my part with this thing. Yeah, you got it, and
Just a
and
little
you can
portion,
zero in and
Yeah,
you can see all
yeah,
of it.
I tried to, so what, apparently, they came down Solona Road,
Solona Road.
went up Vista Road, down County Road H, up County Road O, and then it's just a straight line Niles Road, and so that's what our portion of it is. And what Charter did, Charter looked at these communities and said, here's where we're gonna try and write a grant for this area, and this
Yeah,
area.
because down by the lake has got really bad.
Yeah, and they're really on lake on the township of
Claybank.
Claybank,
Yeah.
gonna, we get pretty happy with this. Now,
Now, they say on this thing that I looked at from the top, from the county website, on your meeting agenda for tomorrow's meeting, they had Forestville listed with 623 addresses. And of that, they're cherry picking 9 because it's a concentration of homes that they feel they can serve and pick up all of these businesses. So this is a proposal that's coming from Charter, and they're just looking, where can we sell services? So they identified 25 in our town. Now, we're a town of 1,100 people. Granted, we don't have that many residences. And in fact, what's our count on?
466.
466, but 466 are
Livable buildings,
residences.
right?
And they had here 623.
23.
I don't know, though, how they are counting their addresses. Are they looking at farms? Other businesses that might be establishments that would be candidates? Could be. I don't think we have 620.
But there are.
No, and I was visiting with the clerk from Nassawabi this morning, and if you have a condominium complex, well, there you have maybe 6 or 8
Oh,
potential.
Yes,
If you have
But
something
still.
like that, but we don't have anything like that. And out of our
Oh.
466,
we don't
we've
have
got
any
at least
duplexes
20
or
that
anything.
are part-time
Right,
residences.
right.
So I can't put a figure on that, but we know we don't have 623.
Mhm.
So I guess what the group, this is the other towns, if you feel, as you may have known, Bailey's Harbor has got a support, a grant in, if you read the Pulse, Bailey's Harbor has a
yeah, they got,
application going in.
Yep.
And there's also going to be a deal, the same thing, the county will be participating by $25 for addresses. And visiting with other townships, the town of Washington is giving 100% of their ARPA money to broadband. Liberty Grove is giving 100% to broadband. According to the chair at Nassawabi, he's going to give 100% to broadband.
Oh, wow.
So what they found out is that the service that they were getting from not from satellites, but from dishes, that's not servicing the community because you got trees in the way and hills in the way, so you can't do that. So what they're looking from us is a dollar amount. Like, should we give, how much should we donate to this cause? Because the more that they can get participation from municipalities, the better chance of getting the grant is what I'm being told. And
this represents a less than 5% of our total population.
that is correct. That is correct. Yeah, 5%. Yeah.
So if we're talking 5% of our.
So the only people that they're gonna touch
our-
are these people that
That's
they.
correct. 5% of the residents.
Am I wrong in assuming that all the county roads here have the fiber optic cable?
No,
No,
no.
this is, they want to put in a fiber optic to the premises. That's at least what I understand. So it's fiber service
Mhm.
to the premises.
Right.
FTTP, fiber to the premises.
So what happens if the people on here don't take this fiber? We just wasted our money
Mhm.
on putting it in for people
Oh,
that
it's
won't
big
even
money
know.
to do, because you don't put that kind of fiber in for nothing.
Oh, I know,
That's huge.
I know, but I'm saying, so what are the people gonna have to pay for this for each household?
Whatever charter can charge.
You know, and a lot of people aren't gonna pay for it.
They're talking about.
Until Starlink comes.
Give you figures I've been hearing is going to be, cost is going to probably be about $9,000 per household to install, or $50,000 to $60,000 a mile to lay the fiber. They're talking about probably a charge of $75 a month for internet service by the.
Well, it's not terrible.
No,
By the fiber, so that's the sub figures I'm being tossed around
Okay.
right now. But you're talking about a large, to do a township, you're talking the millions of dollars, $5-6 million is what you're talking about.
but the thing that gets me, and we've been to enough meetings where we've listened to these various people, that one from the Door County Economic Development, there's monies that some of these companies, CenturyLink is one of them, who says, oh, we've got this service in the area, and they have put in a ton of fiber in our town. However, there's not that many people that are enjoying the kinds of internet speeds that I personally get. I'm one of the few that get what I'm getting.
Mhm.
The other issue that I see here is that they're not the only player. I mean, Charter is going to just go after what they think they can put in.
Mhm.
CenturyLink, and part of what we saw in this meetings that we've gone to, is if they get just service a few people, they can claim, yes, we've gotten broadband into that area, and that reduces your chances of getting funding.
Right.
I think that Insight has put a lot of fiber in this county as well.
Mhm.
And if you're looking at what are we gonna do, it should benefit all of the residents
Right.
of the town of Forestville.
Right,
And to contribute for 29 of them out of,
Yeah.
400 to 600, whatever that number is, and I don't know if it's businesses or what all it is, but it's less than 5% of our population. I'm not really eager to give a pile of money
right.
of our ARPA funds to something that's only gonna benefit 5% or less than 5% of the town.
I just see fiber optic as still somewhat of like an old technology that's going away, but you don't think so?
No, I don't. That is the preferred delivery mechanism. Satellites sound good, but also I don't know if you've followed any of the space weather issues or anything else.
No, I do.
But the Starlink, they dropped 49 satellites based on a sunburst. Starlink.
Heard that.
How long have you
Yeah.
had money in on
Oh,
Starlink? A
long,
year?
Yeah, at least.
And when they can deliver, they can deliver. Will it be offset? Fiber is like your phone line.
Mhm.
And if you get right back down to it, we invested in this country, Tennessee Valley Authority, for electricity to every home.
Mhm.
And then we turned around and we went to put telephone in every address, every location, and it's a wire, it's copper. And the fact of the matter is, internet is a utility, and to service at the speeds that people really need, fiber is the medium. And it's not a wireless environment. Even though we're renting a tower
Right.
to Door County Broadband, trying to get service down to you guys
Mhm.
at one point. I mean, fiber is really where it's at. Between the state and the federal government, they're committing tons of money to this stuff. But grants have to be written in concert with other municipalities and utilities. And quite frankly, I'm looking for direction to come from the county.
Well, that's what, we're talking about that on this tonight.
But you're in the process of hiring someone to head coordinate.
That's right, and that'll be a question at tomorrow's county board meeting, is how is that process going? Now, after the getting up to speed from charter and also from our county tomorrow, we might call a special meeting to discuss how much we're going to donate to this particular project.
I'd like to know more about
Yeah,
this project.
Yeah, that's bringing you what I know right now, information I got. We're talking to Jacksonport around Clark's Lake. There's a little portion of Jacksonport, Jacksonport. Too bad we weren't brought up to more information before last Wednesday.
It's a little late.
Yeah, but that's all we got right now, so we might call a special meeting next, at least we'll walk out of this week, because this application has to be in March 13th, I think is the date.
Yeah, and the thing is, and I agree, if there's any benefit for our towns, to get in on these early bids is important.
Mhm.
I don't dispute that, but I think this one is why should we talk too much to Forestville? There's only a handful of them.
Right. But I know there was
But you
fiber
want
optic cable everywhere, I thought,
There's a lot of it.
There's a lot of.
but it's just not from certain companies.
Well, there's a lot of it, Jason, however, it's not, we cannot tap into it for our use or.
A lot of it was put in under grant monies,
Mhm.
and according to what they had said originally, the one meeting we went to in Sturgeon Bay, is that was, even though it's dark fiber and it can satisfy a whole bunch of traffic, it was put in with the sole purpose of municipal building. We don't have any of it here. But libraries have it,
Right,
museums have it, schools have it, but we're not in on that.
right.
And that's a piece I don't understand. Why is this municipality not got a fiber line to it?
And see, that's owned by Insight.
I understand that.
It was a private company, and they got partnered with the county for getting that
Right.
done.
And the county has made statements to the effect that all municipalities within the community have got this access for their facility. We don't have it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll stop. I'll tell you what.
So we're gonna find out more information tomorrow on this subject, and we might just call a special
Okay.
meeting yet this month. Get this handled.
Okay,
Okay, moving on to the state code retention policy update. Anything, Ruth? on that?
Nothing, no.
Keep that on there.
I'm just wondering if they just got the application, they think, well, okay, go ahead. you know.
Maybe we could just write an ordinance.
That's
and-
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I haven't heard anything.
Well,
And I was looking for my copy of my form. I don't know if I made a copy of the application or not. When I submitted that, and that was sent in the day after that meeting that you gave me the form. So that's 4 or 5 months ago.
so, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Town hall siding, I was waiting for another bid. I called last week and said they came and measured the town hall. And this is from Anapee Construction. Didn't receive that yet, so no use talking about that anymore. Town website, update officers' email addresses. Hey, go update, Larry, what did you got on there?
Lots going on. Spent a fair amount of time with this .gov email addresses. We all have them now. I've gone around and made sure everybody is working. In fact, we just finished Dina this week.
Yes.
There's a sub-grant. I talked with Don Selesky. They now came out with a new naming convention for .gov. They, instead of just wi.gov, they also wanted to add a .tn.wi.gov. And Don said, you don't have to do that. You've got your .gov email address. She said, you were kind of on the front end of it. They changed the way they're going about it. And then they came out with this sub-grant of up to $600. Now, we did incur costs moving to .gov environment with our Rackspace people. And we went through quite a bit of stuff. I never turned in my expense report yet, but I should, so that we then can apply for that grant money and it'll be offset the costs that are incurred for with it. We didn't spend a lot of money with Rackspace, but we spent a lot of time. It took a week and a half and made it a little difficult for us. So I will pursue that and come back with more information. As far as the .gov, well, the website thing, Ruth just gave me notice that they're going to be raising our rate for the website on a monthly basis. We pay for it on an annual basis. I think we just paid that not too long ago.
December, was it?
Something
November,
like
December.
that. And I think we're on a year-to-year basis. It's from what I read from that letter you gave me tonight, is that it looks like we can sign a 3-year contract and lock it in.
Oh,
But, and that would not be dissimilar from what we did with the Gov stuff. We signed a 3-year contract. And to that end, I have been working with them, and we have multiple, we have above ground manure line permit application. We have the driveway and under the road permit application. We have 2 versions of the dog license application. One for the for 3 dogs or less, and one for 12, the kennel type thing. We have a number of others that are, I've talked with them. Right now, I have a meeting set up for Thursday.
At 1:30?
At 1:30 in the afternoon with the people to get our Stripe account established and to get the online payment thing established. And that'll take a week or so to make the transactions between the banks and that. And then we will have those licenses available on the website, and they've got to get integrated with our website. And at some point, I'm going to have to also then add individuals to the departments. We have 4 departments: administration, we have animal control, we have driveway and road, and we have finance. So I'm going, you know, like you'll be in animal control, you'll be on the roads, you guys will be on the finance, I'm running the administration at this point in time. But then you'll probably become part and parcel members of one of those other departments. So that when you get, you get an application comes in, let's say for a road, culvert, driveway, something like that, you'll get the permit, you'll have to do something with the permit to either approve or deny. But then the monies will be showing up for Dina. So you'll probably all end up in these other
Working together,
departments so
yeah.
that you'll know whether all these dog licenses have been issued. She'll get the monies, you'll see the transactions. It looks good. It's coming together, but it's been, it's again, been a lot of back and forth. And unfortunately, I've been able to work on both of them simultaneously, see, so this has been one of those problems. Ruth, I was with you for, I don't even know how many
Yeah.
times I was over your place, your place, we're trying to get it all put together. One of the things that I did find out about, there's a potential out here that if we do put something, we can add to that HayGov environment, the ability to accept monies for charity, like some fire department or something like that, if there was a fundraising thing that I don't know about that, but there's no charge associated with that either. But that's in addition to, and I said, no, wait a minute. First, we got to get a lot of other things in place before we go any further. So that's where I'm at. I will be putting more pieces together. I'll be in touch with, I got to touch base with everybody because you're all going to be affected in some way, shape, form, or another. And I'm looking at these websites right now, and the forms mimic what we now have or are better than what we have. Because we did not really have an application for the above ground manure line.
No.
All we had was the permit form itself. So now we have an application form that mimics the wording of our ordinance that then will enable the permit to be generated through the system and the payment to flow. So it's a work in progress. It's pretty involved, but it's coming together. And the only other thing I'm gonna comment on related to that has to do with, I did send out that message about the email. They're trying to get at us spoofing our email.
Rack space and what have you.
And all of that. And I did also get another from the National Terrorism Advisory System through the Department of Homeland Security. I got another threats to the homeland. I got this only by virtue of the fact that I carry my explosives license through ATF. But it's pretty scary in a way as to what is actually occurring. So if you've got any questions on links, emails, inquiries for stuff about town business, if you're not sure, contact me because it's people are trying to get at everything. And small, there's misinformation and disinformation being disseminated. And Homeland Security is very much aware of it because they're trying to sow discontent around elections, around anything to do with public business. They're just trying to continue to divide and cause trouble. So be aware if you got a question on what something looks like, and you've asked me, and I'll show you what I get. So. Enough of that.
Yes, it's a little scary sometimes when you hear all the things.
Yeah.
Well, but you gotta stay on top of it.
Yep.
And basically that's all I'm never doing anymore.
Yep.
For all these things, trying to stay on top of it.
Roads and road work. We expected at this time to hear something about the grants that we wrote, as they said, the first one for our first allocation of 18,000, we know something by mid-February. I haven't heard anything on that, so we'll keep that on the agenda. Our bill from the highway was through December. We had 7 or 8 snow plowing events last week in November and first part of and through December. And so that was $12,247.44. And then they took down a tree on North Carnet Road, and that cost us $647, just that one branch. I see the stuff is still there yet. On that, Jason, also, you might want, and Krieger has now got everything done on the first go around except Anschutz Road. He's finishing up that. But there's also some wood on Maplewood Road in front of Chris Engel. He said he was going to take care of it, but I see it's still there yet. On it. Last Saturday, I went through the roads again and found potholes, so there should be signs on all of the. Thad says they're dips. I saw say it's bumps. Either way, we went.
The one on Center Road.
So we well, you heard how deep the frost is, 5-6 feet down. So that's giving us some real nasty dips. So there's signs on 5 dips. If you find out any dips that don't have a sign and they're bad, I went through the dips, and then if I didn't think it was too bad, I didn't request signs for them. If they get worse, please let me know on dips. So that's what's going through. Also, I've asked Mark to give me a bid for some more trees we found. And we're going to take this one up on our road review when we look at those and see if they should come down. He's given me a bid. There's 8 trees, more trees on Geyer Road and 5 leading. There's about a total of 13 trees on Geyer Road, and then there's 2 ash trees on Mile Road that are dead. Look like they're dead, but that's a summer project. He's giving me bids for that. Also, we get notified when people do tree cutting. Do you put this back in your file, Ruth?
Yep.
As far as they get notified
From Jill or from
when
the
people
county, yeah.
cut trees down, and so
Yes,
we get that.
I always give them to you so that you see them.
Yes, that's so that we get that notified. Again, on roads, you heard last month talking about that Wisconsin is going to get $1.29 billion worth of from the federal government. It's mainly to replace bridges rather than just plain roads. So bridges, so again, we'll be looking at this in our summertime because it's too late to get an application.
Is that what this is about?
Yep, that's what this is about. Yeah.
Bipartisan infrastructure law webinar?
Yeah.
That's this Wednesday?
Yeah. That's what that's about. If you can take that in, if it's free for
We're
mayors.
on the webinars for the next 4 days.
I won't be.
I don't know if I'll make that one or not.
I got a meeting. I got
What time is it at?
9 to 12.
In the morning? I'll be at work. I should take it in.
Well, yeah,
Take the paper chase.
Yeah, that's
Get
what
the
that one is
info.
about.
Right.
That's about.
Tell everybody you're busy.
yeah,
And of course, this is the one where we have to hire an engineer to do the work.
right, and Aries is going to be a part and parcel
Yeah,
representation.
and that's what that's all about. Okay. Next item is, we did budget for $250 to the library, and they use that to buy large print books is what they do.
Yeah.
Do we need a motion to?
I don't think so,
Budgeted.
because it was
That
in the
was
budget.
adopted
It's
in our
just that,
budget, but we didn't pay it.
yeah, I didn't pay it. I usually like to wait. Well, with the library, I used to pay them in January or February, get it over with. And the same thing with the animal,
Uh-huh.
donation. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I've been waiting with the animal donation because it's always doubled like about June or
Right,
July. So
right.
then I send it in and, it's
Yeah.
matched. And this year I never thought about the library, so
Yeah. so-
I'll cut the check for next month for
Next month.
$500 then for this year and from last
Oh,
year.
we didn't pay last year either.
No,
Okay.
that's how we caught it because I didn't
Okay.
have it on the report.
We did budget for
Yes.
250 for
Mhm.
2020 and
Right.
2021.
So I'll make the check out for 500 and I'll do that next month then.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good, very good, because they really appreciate that.
Oh, yes.
Okay, the next item would be the reviewing the bills.
It starts on 131 with interest. Page 2.
Get a lot of taxes out.
Yes, a lot of money went out.
Rack space soap. That's kind of
No,
interesting.
well, that both on
Was
the
it?
credit card. Come on. Yeah, it doesn't look funny, does it?
What is he doing?
What are you-
Max space. soap.
Rack space, oh, and so. That's would be my note, but that's, that gets in there.
Whatever.
I figured you were
I looked
scrubbing our
at that.
website.
No,
You should know me by now.
Scrubbing our website.
Hmm. Yeah, and when I write out the check, I put, their name and what it's for. But that part doesn't print out, so I've got to put it in the memo on the very bottom, and I just put little notes in there. I wish that other part could
I
print,
know,
but
I
it
don't
doesn't. Oh,
understand why it doesn't.
I
because it
know,
did.
it always did with the
Yeah.
old program.
Yeah.
Well, make a motion. to pay those bills.
A second.
Okay, Larry. Okay,
Pay
bills.
the bill. Any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
All right.
Alright.
Motion is carried. Okay, the next item on that agenda is we have on the 24th, we have a WTA meeting. Ruth, I see that in this meeting that Linda would like to know how many people are going.
I already told her you and Larry are going.
Okay, nobody else is going?
No, I can't go. Yeah,
Okay.
some other going on.
Okay, Larry, I'll pick you up. It takes us a half an hour to get there.
What's on the agenda? I can't even remember.
You're going to
Where did I have it?
Oh, I got it right here.
It's gonna be a long way around.
Oh, this ain't it. This is last.
No, this isn't.
Pick you up about 20 to
Brussels, yeah.
6. 20 to 6.
Yeah.
Oh, it's in Brussels. You're going a half an hour early?
6 o'clock. Yeah.
He's got to be there early and get all his papers out.
Okay.
I gotta get there early.
Gotta polish his gavel.
Gotta be early.
What are they talking about? Okay.
Bailey.
Yeah, and I figured you were good to go. so
Actually,
you-
it's a quite an
No,
important
probably not.
session. We're having a presentation from Bay Lake Regional. And right now, there's at least either 3 or 4 counties belong to Bay Lake Regional. Jacksonport just signed up.
Mhm.
And it's going to be interesting from my standpoint, what services they offer.
Sure.
And one of the services that they do offer, and I don't know if it's charged, but this is filling out the road
Yeah,
reports.
road reports.
That's not a big job, but it's one of the services they offer.
Should have went to that.
But we'll hear about it. And if we don't join before June 1st, they are not going to allow any municipalities to join unless the county joins.
Oh.
Oh,
So that's
okay.
why it's important for us to make a decision if we should join or not.
we used
Yeah.
to be in it years ago.
We used to be.
But they never-
But
and
that
they
was
never-
before zoning was adopted.
Well,
Right.
and that brings up another question I have in my notes here. Comprehensive plan. That's another thing that they do is do the comprehensive plan for the municipalities. Now, did we do a comprehensive?
County does it.
The county does it, and we adopt the
Mhm.
counties.
Yeah, comprehensive plan.
Yeah. Mhm.
So some
How,
municipalities,
how expensive is it to be
I think it's $2,500.
a year?
We'll find out for sure, but I heard that figure
Mhm.
thrown at me.
Because years ago, before we adopted zoning as a town, we had them,
Mhm.
and,
But they-
there was a lot of money, but they
Board
did
didn't
nothing
do
for us.
anything. Yeah.
Really, so after we adopted zoning, was that in 08?
Wait,
Yeah.
October of 08.
Yeah, so at that point in time, we decided then was when we were gonna discontinue it.
Yeah.
I recall that, I wasn't on the board, but I
Mhm,
recall
mhm,
that.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
so that's important for us to take advantage of that. And then our next, and Larry, I'll pick you up. And then we also have a WTA district meeting in Mandalore, which at least one person has to go, but beneficial if whoever can go, and that's going to be on April 2nd. And April 2nd is a
We,
Saturday, isn't it?
Saturday.
don't we have to do our
Border review,
training?
Yeah,
certification,
that's a must.
I'm due for that. I
We
have to
all
get
do.
done.
We're all.
We have to do it every,
Every
somebody
two-
has to do it every
every
year
2
now.
years.
Right, but I haven't been, I thought,
You didn't go last year.
I
I don't think.
didn't.
Yeah, you,
2 years
you,
ago.
I went.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
so I'm overdue.
I'll plan on going.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
usually
I'd
have a
like to
pretty
go
good
too,
meeting.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, because that's,
So, and we have to make, and Ruth, you have to make
At this, yep, I have to send
the
that in.
reservations.
So who's going?
I am.
Everybody?
Yeah.
Good,
I
good,
think we
okay.
should, yeah.
Yeah.
So then I can send the registration in.
For
Okay,
April 2nd.
yes.
April.
Just so when it comes to tax, on they can kick me out again like they did last time.
It's on a
I
Saturday.
already
So
got it in my phone.
it's on a Saturday,
What do
the
you really?
following
Yeah.
Tuesday, we have elections.
The following Tuesday.
Yes.
Algorithms, that's
Uh-huh.
stuff.
Yeah, the following Tuesday, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
uh-huh, yeah. That's always a good, this is always a really good meeting. I think that's good.
Yeah, that's,
I made extra copies here, but I'll have to make some
anybody
more.
did a copy of mine themselves, I made copies.
I have, oh, I have.
So what's on the April ballot? What are we,
Roy?
Roy is on the ballot.
oh, he's on the ballot?
Oh,
You're,
I can vote for Roy, but you
you
can't.
gotta vote for, Todd.
You're in the other
Oh, I'm in the other
district, yeah.
Yeah.
board now.
Yeah.
No, you, that's where you always were.
Were we?
Yeah.
Oh, Roy was always there.
No,
We had to vote for that, or for Todd Pace. yeah,
Oh.
Or John Ninus, remember?
Oh, yeah, John is,
Yeah.
okay.
Because it was just more of that eastern part.
Yep.
Okay.
Just for your information, I went on, I looked at all the websites for municipalities in Door County, and then I went to other websites. And what you do when it's cold as heck outside. And we got, like you, Larry, we got a pretty darn good website in that what we got. And anytime we want to put any publication, like cutting down trees, we have a spot in our website that we can put that on for information or election
Notices.
notices. We have that. What I was really interested in is solar power. And right now, municipalities have very little to say on solar power with over 100 megawatts.
Mhm.
And so the town of Holland and Sheboygan County came up with a 21-page understanding of memorandum with that utility, with that company that's putting the solar in. So if that ever happens, however, right now the legislator supposedly is trying to give municipalities more to say so in these large solar installations.
Did you get a letter in the mail?
No.
We got a letter in the mail for solar, and I was just talking to Lloyd Seiler's daughter, and he got a letter in the mail for solar.
Was it an official letter or was it like this one scam I talked about?
No, I'm pretty sure, well, I guess I don't know that for sure. I threw mine out, so I don't know.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I don't know that. I didn't realize there was a scam out
Oh,
there.
yeah, there's something going on now.
All the time.
That's huge on New York right now. So,
It is.
yeah.
Yeah, it's got a real issue.
Well, there's nothing more to talk about that I have in my agenda right at this moment in time. Is there anything else that we should put on next month's agenda?
Well, probably we should establish when we're gonna do a road review.
There will be your next month.
And I'm thinking,
Before
I'm
March.
just trying to think, if in March we
April,
think about it, yeah,
yeah.
we'll do it in April usually.
Okay.
Mhm.
And we'll have another update, I'm sure. on-
So we only got one bid for the siding?
Yeah, Brian didn't get to me, and I called him back in Christmas time, and he was gonna get back to me, but he hasn't.
No, this is records.
Okay, thank you.
Did you only send out to two people or what? did you-
Yeah, Vans and Brian, yeah. Vans got back to me early.
Well, if we have nothing else to discuss, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
My second.
Motion made to adjourn, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, we are adjourned.